I'm wearing an action camera in front of, on plastic goggles in front of my eyes, my glasses between my eyes and the goggles. And the action camera creates a thin, blurred, imploded black rectangle, which slightly obscures my vision. I can still see either side of this. I can still see and can largely see through. I largely see through the action camera, but there's a sort of a blurred black, very thin rectangle, vertical rectangle in front of my vision. So I'm looking either side of it. Now what this does, as I stare into this jar, the circle of the jar refracts, so it gives me a kind of lozenge shape, which is cut through the middle by the black blur of the action camera. So I've got a microphone on my top, and I've got a microphone attached to the glass jar because I'm expecting the jar and hoping that my voice will resonate in the jar, and that there'll be certain sounds from the pencil as I'm moving the pencil. Now I have to be very careful at the moment because the jar is not attached. One of the purposes for this is to find out where the jar should optimally go for me to lean into it and feel as comfortable as possible while drawing. So if it's like this, okay, I'm holding it to the page through the pressure of the lens goggles. And what I'm hoping to be able to do, once I'm fixed in place for a few minutes each time, is to draw on the glass with these dermatograph pencils. It doesn't work too well. But the drawing on the glass, just this vertical here, if you can see it, gives me an edge to copy. Here I'm looking at the imploded rectangle of the camera. Here I'm drawing around the shape, the circular shape of the jar, the side of the jar across. There's not much to see actually unless I copy the jar. I kind of broaden it out and I copy the jar. And also I'm wondering to what extent, so this again is trial and error. Here's the base of as I see it from where I'm looking, how I'm looking. This is the base of the imploded rectangle of the action camera, about here. There's a shape of my hand, as much as I can see. Inside here, this is can we get to it? This is the curve of the flesh of my hand. So at the moment I'm having to support the jar with one hand and draw with the other. When the jar is supported by other means, I'll be able to work simultaneously with both hands. This again is the side of the action camera. There's an angle here. I don't know where this is coming from. There's a right angle. There's the lead. There's the microphone, I think. So I don't know to what extent the camera's picking this up, but this could be the perimeter, the outer perimeter of the drawing. I'm looking at this peripherally. I'm actually staring into the jar at the moment, obscured by the action camera. Over here, I'm wondering again if the camera will pick this up. This is peripheral. This is the top of the action camera. This is the line of the action camera. This is the line of the action camera. Strange things are happening. Strange things are felt rather than happening. The jar is steaming up. This again is the mark on the edge. This is this shape in the middle wall. I'm interested in what the camera picks up at the base of the jar as a blind spot. It's certainly a blind spot for me in that it's insofar as it's refracted, the circle is refracted, and there are aspects of it that I can't see because they're obscured by the action camera, not obscured to you. It'll simply look like a blank space, a circular blank space that I can't access. But actually this is what makes it a blind spot. And there's a reference in that. When I say blind spot, there's a reference to Lacan, the psychoanalytical theory of Lacan, which I can explore as part of the theoretical basis of the drawing. And the other question is this question of the German for space that I considered once or twice in other work, pronounced Raum, Raum, Raum. So I'm hoping that this resonates, not so much echoes, I'm hoping it resonates within the jar. I'm not sure, because the idea of this was that this is some sort of this is like a larynx, but I'm looking into a larynx. Raum, Raum. And the sound of this word resonates up from the larynx, from my larynx. So this is like the sort of imaginative image basis of this, maybe, once the drawing gets started and develops. That it's not just looking into a jar, that I'm actually using this as a prompt for consideration of something else, which concerns the larynx. My larynx and the larynx in general. Larynx in general. And the vocalization of it through the pronunciation of the word Raum. I think it's probably as much as I need. I mean, what I need from this is the position of the page, the laminated white cardboard that I'm working on. It's much larger than I need. I can actually see the base. Otherwise, the card is much larger. So the drawing should find its own format, proportions and format on the page. looking at the right diagonal of the circle. And I'm going to stop here.